Brian Chandler's on the win. We're just going to quickly go have a look at what happened to Hernandez here at the very end. Ooh. Alright, that's a little bit of he said, she said there. We won't worry too much about that one though. Because here is Brian Chandler. He's going to celebrate his win here at Michigan. He's going to do it in style. I'm here going into turn 1. So he's got the 25 of Brandon Miller behind him, who just went through him a little bit. Sam does have an issue with being low on blinker fluid. Not sure if that's what caused that or not. Oh, Sanchez. Very lucky not to hit Sam head on there. Damn.
That puts on this league. That was a hell of a season. Thomas didn't have his most dominating season there, but he was consistent. He did what he had to do at the end of the day to take home his 3rd championship. So congrats to him, and I definitely look forward to next.
All right, well, thank you for coming up and joining me in the booth, man. It's been a hello, everyone, and welcome to the Homestead Miami Speedway for the Gladiator 100 here for Output Racing League, live and exclusive on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. I am your commentator, the Aussie Sim Commentator, and our drivers here on track are just about to get ready for a pit party. Currently 16 people here to race, plus myself as the commentator. Means a strength of field of 27.89, which is a very decent strength of field. See Jonathan Hernandez still rolling around the track. But I think everyone else is just coming out of the pits to get ready for the pit party here. So Hernandez is probably going to get a hurry up and stop. And Hernandez just absolutely binned the automobile. So we're probably going to go for a second lap here in waiting for everyone to get ready. I'm touching things I shouldn't touch things. Oh, they're going. They're not doing a second lap to wait. And already anarchy. 5 cars involved in this. 6 cars involved in this. The track is completely blocked. And there's Mark Pentecoff with damage as well. Oh, pit entry practice going a bit awry as well. One of the harder pit entries to come into. I think we're going to re-rack and stack and try this again. But yeah, it's a very difficult pit entry to get into. It's very easy to carry too much speed, and it's also very easy to not get lined up properly and run into the end of the pit wall. In years gone past, we had to take the access road that is a long turn 4 there on the very inside, which is sometimes a part of... Actually, no, the Indy cars have to take the access road, but it's in between the oval track and the road course B layout. Because yeah, there is 2 different road course configurations, well, technically 3, but 2 different road course configurations here for the Homestead Miami Speedway, which encompasses the majority of the infield for A and C layouts. Here is the exit of the A and C layout. And then the B and C layout, which goes through the inside of turns 3 and 4. As our drivers are getting ready to get re-racked and restacked and hit this pit party again, Christian Budd is leading the way with a 33.992. Chris Champeau just a 10th.5 behind him in P2. Brian Pizzicami 3. Matt Burgess 4 and Jaron Sanchez currently P5 in the practice standings. We've had 15 drivers take lap time so far. As we're off and racing again, anyone who hasn't so far is Brian Chambliss. And I think he's on track right at the very back of the pack. There he is. Oh, Chris Champeau getting loose. Jonas Marquez got caught up in that. As you can see, we also have the new damage model back again for these ARCA cars, which is surely going to provide some entertainment here for us. Oh, as you see, the 15 Ken Campbell getting a little bit loose there. Managed to hold on to it for now. see multiple grooves of racing here. The 50 of Christian Budd using that high line to his greatest advantage. But it is not the preferred line. The high line definitely has some pace about it now, but it's not the way you should be driving around here. As you can see, most people occupying the bottom 2 lanes. That's where it is fast around here. Yeah, it's mostly just too much risk for too little reward. You see John Lozelle there crashing coming out of turn 4 all by himself on the front stretch. As the drivers continue on around the track. It's definitely one of the sketchier setups that we've had. The cars really like going sideways around the entire track. You see Brian Chambliss at the back of it, getting sideways coming out of turn 2, slamming that inside wall. No matter how you square it away, that is always a heavy impact. You see the 13 of Travis Massier trying to work on the low side of Jaron Sanchez there. Yeah, the drivers definitely have to be careful of the new damage model being back. They can't hit each other all the walls as hard as what some of them have been doing and getting away with. Which makes things very interesting. Now have 18 cars registered to race. Strength of field currently at 28.03. Currently had 16 cars who have set lap times. Oh, as in the background there, Ken Campbell and I think that was Matt Horton have had a running coming out of turn 4. And that has just damaged both of their automobiles. But while we've got these drivers a little bit spread out, let's have a try of doing a little bit of a crank it up here in practice. Let's get into the groove of things. Obviously, a couple of the camera angles there were a little bit off, and we had to adjust them on the fly. But hey, at least we know that that works for later on when we go to a restart. There is the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez, currently P11 in the standings. As in the background there, Travis Massier in the 13 has gone for a big spin coming out of turn 4. Almost thought for a second he was going to come out across the track again, but he's just deciding to do a burnout there on the inside. Practicing for a victory that might never come with the 50 of Christian Budd on track. But you never know. Weirder things have happened. This takes one mistake for the kingdom of Bud to come crashing down. Ooh, as you saw there, Gary Waterworth getting a little bit loose. And I think we need to have another look there at Waterworth's car. I think the number on his car is not reflective of his number in server. He's in the pits right now, so we can't exactly see his car too well. We have to wait for him to come back out on track. Now looking at Frank Isaacson and Brian Chambliss going side by side through turn 1 and 2. Now focus on Mark Pentecoff in the 5, who has Jared Sanchez just behind him. 3 wide these guys go with Kyle Kraus. And Chambliss pulling in front of Isaacson. Oh, and around goes Chambliss in front of Frank. That was definitely interesting. Everyone has laid down lap times now, so we'll see where everyone's at. So we've got Christian Budd, Jaron Sanchez, Chris Champeau, Brian Pizzakemi, Matt Burgess, John Lozelle, Matt Horton, Kyle Kraus, Brian Chambliss, and Travis Massier wrapping up your top 10. Then it's Hernandez, Campbell, Harmon, Isaacson, Marquez, Waterworth, Pentecoff, and I did see someone down in 19. Was that actually 18th, but my time doesn't count. Zach Floyd in a 9. That's who I saw. There is Zach on screen right now. Feels like it's been a while since we've seen Zach hit the track. As now we have about 14 minutes left in practice. Guys will probably want to do another pit party here shortly. So they've got that extra little bit of practice being around other cars on similar tyres. That plus cold tyres around here are a little bit sketchy. But these drivers should be able to deal with it. Alright, let's go see if Waterworth's hit the track again, because I wanted to have a look. No, he's still in the pits. There's Matt Horton. Oh! Getting absolutely slammed by Christian Budd. These guys showing the damage model for what it's worth. But, definitely going to need to call a medic after that one. As Jaron Sanchez is getting spun by Jonathan Hernandez. But the driver's starting to file out and onto the track for the pit party. Everyone trying to figure out where they want to start. Now off and racing. In the background there, Matt Burgess just catching onto the back of the field as they went green. And look at the run he's going. He was at max speed when the green flag dropped. And that's an old movie reference. Oh, we saw Christian Budd getting a little bit looser on the high lane. He's mired in the pack a little bit, so it's not easy for him to get around these guys now. See Thomas Harmon out there on the track as well. Oh, as Hernandez has gone around. And that's with Zach Floyd in the 9. Zach showing off his displeasure there. A little bit of a love tap. Oh. Mark Petticuff heavy into the outside wall there, and I think he took out the 2 of Chris Champeau in that move. He did. There is a 38 of Thomas Harmon, currently 15th. Calculate that 14th. Isaacson getting a little bit loose there, going through turn 4. Held on to it nicely. Looks like so far no one else has come into blows with each other. Couple of netcode contacts off the wall. Probably be hearing a lot of that throughout the race. The forward Jaron Sanchez has gone around, coming out of turn 4. And he's now in the pits. Oh, Brian Pizzacami very loose coming through turn 2. Saved it though. He was very close to being in the inside wall. Pizzacami currently 4th in the standings. Oh, Travis Massier has made a mistake. And around he goes, Marquez involved as well. Marquez actually dealt the final blow there. John Lazelle getting it wrong on the front stretch, ended up in front of Thomas Harmon, and all hell has broken loose. Frank turned Pizzacami, and unfortunately Horton caught up in that one. Horton didn't hear a who that time. And it looks like anarchy is starting to break loose. But we are only 6 minutes until the end of the practice session here. So anarchy is expected. Especially when these boys had the damage model to play around with. It was only just reintroduced about 18 hours ago. So they haven't had very much of a chance to play around with it yet, I would imagine. Jaron Sanchez in P2, a 10th and a half off of the leading time set by Christian Budd. We have about 9 laps left to go in the practice session. There's Frank Isaacson on screen, taking the high line over Chris Champeau. John Lozelle in the 23. Currently P7, which is really good. He's only 2/10 off of the leading time set by Christian Budd. And just having a look at the field spread, everyone is separated by less than a second. And the entire field spread is .607, with Gary Waterworth being the man in 18th. .607 off the leading time set by Christian Budd. So 14 drivers within half a second of the top time. We only have about 2 minutes left in practice. Means in a minute and a half time we're going to go to adverts during qualifying. And you know, I just thought of another thing we've got to keep an eye out for. Because we have the new damage model back, we have to watch out for the possibility of debris. Something that we don't usually see unless the new damage model is activated, debris across the track. So that's definitely going to spice things up a little bit. Could even get a debris caution. As James Watson has now entered the fray, which means that we have 19 drivers tackle this race. So out of all 20 people in the server, which does include myself, strength of field 2807. But we are going to go for our commercial break now. When we come back, the grid will be set here for the Gladiator 100 from the Homestead Miami Speedway. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, we are back and the field has been set. So it's time for us to go through our starters and drivers. As you can see, that front row is going to be the 50 car of Christian Budd, and on his outside will be the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. Row 2 is going to be the 2 of Chris Champeau, and on his outside will be the 9 of Zach Floyd. And we're going to have Brian Chambliss in the 21 out of 5th. Out of P6 will be Matt Burgess in the 12. And we're going to have the 60 of Kyle Kraus out of P7. Out of P8 will be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Travis Massio will be out of 9th, with Gary Waterworth in the 22 out of P10. Then out of 11th, it's going to be John Lazelle, Ken Campbell 12, Frank Isaacson 13th, Mark Penticup out of 14th, Brian Pizzakemi out of 15th, Thomas Harmon out of P16, and the last eligible driver for the Hard Charger Award. Got Tommy Bordeaux in 17th, Matt Horton out of 18th, James Watson 19th, and Jonas Marquez will be starting out of the 20th position. So out of the 20 drivers, 21 people in the server, including myself, strength of field is now a 28.49. We had one person joining just before qualifying began. But we are here for the Gladiator 100 from the Homestead Miami Speedway. And it is time for our drivers to get it on. Got 100 laps here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Got the new damage model. We got multiple racing grooves. Got 20 hotheads out there on track. And we got time for a lot of drama. As the field comes out of turn 4, pace car will head infield. The first start is on green. All restarts will be on the leader. The pace car is in. And we're up and racing. Christian Budd looking like he's going to be taking the early lead here. Jaron Sanchez still stuck in that second lane, but he'll probably slot into second as long as Zach Floyd doesn't get up next to him here on the back straight. Hopefully Sanchez can use some of the momentum of using the higher line, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Zach Floyd coming up to his inside to affect the overtake, but he gets a little bit loose there going into turn 3. He's holding his nerve in turn 4, and he stays side by side with the 4 car as they come onto the front straight to complete lap number 1. This guy's still driving pretty hard. The fresh tyres slowly starting to come up to the temperature. These guys are going to get a little bit more confidence about them. As Zach Floyd now takes second place. You see that just behind these guys there was another battle between the 2 and the 12. Chris Champeau and Matt Burgess. Chris Champeau the winner in that situation, slotting up into 4th. Now the battle is on between the 21 and the 12. And with that one, Brian Chambliss takes the position. Still some side-by-side battling going on behind these guys. Like the 22 of Gary Waterworth battling it out with the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. And yes, indeed, it looks like Waterworth running a number that he shouldn't be running in this league, because he is the number 22 in this league. He should be running the 22 on his car. He's running, what's that, the 94. So the 94 on track and the 22 in your standings is Gary Waterworth. Now let's have a look at Thomas Harmon. He has already moved his way up into 13th position. Here you see, he just got around Frank Isaacson and the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi. And the next person on his list to get is going to be the 13 of Travis Massio. So going to be a close, hard battle between them, as I thought I saw the beginnings of a 3 wide up here. Maybe it wasn't, but the 12 of Matt Burgess trying to get the position back from Gary Waterworth. These guys battling it out for the 6th position. Here comes Jonathan Hernandez to make it 3 wide on the bottom. And it looked like Matt Burgess actually fell victim to the momentum of the outside. Gary Waterworth maintaining P6. But now that's going to make Matt Burgess drop down to 8th as Hernandez is going to take over the 7th position there. Does it clean and clear. Slots in front of Burgess. The high line's not the fast line, but it is great for defending when you need to use it. Because it's hard to overcome that momentum that you gain on the outside. In saying that, Matt Burgess does get the position back from Hernandez, and now Kyle Kraus is joining the fray. He says, I want to make a position too, and he's going to try and get P8 away from Hernandez, which he does so on the low side of 3 and 4. So we are now 6 laps complete, and everyone's still running. No one has gotten so loose that they've gone for a crash, which is always really good to see. We want to see our drivers finishing races. But moving back to the field here, we're looking at the battle for 12th between Pizzakemi and Campbell. Pizzakemi is going to take 12th position away from Ken Campbell. And just like that, everyone is all strung out. Here is our leader, Christian Budd. Let's have a look out the back of his car. That is what 7/10 of a second looks like around here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Now you guys can start seeing where everyone's at now that I remember to turn on the positional ticker. Let's go focus on crashes. Let's see if we can find anything of interest to watch. It looks like everyone's still strung out at the moment. No one's really making moves. Everyone's just kind of seeing what they got at the moment. And some people could be trying to fuel save early for later in the race. Some people could have just been trying to look after their tyres here a little bit. As we do know, Output Racing League generally has a very clean record. You know, we don't usually see too many wrecks happening within the field here. As Gary Waterworth goes very high there in turn 2. Gains up that momentum and shoots down the back straight here, gaining a little bit of time over the 12 of Matt Burgess. And Matt Burgess absolutely sent it into turn 3 there, closed up that gap a little bit more. We're still looking at Gary Waterworth, 94 on track, 22 in your standings. With Waterworth currently P6 over Matt Burgess. Second through 5th are pretty close on track. They're all single file, but they are really close on track. You see them all on the screen now at the bottom. And Christian Budd has now slipped away. He's got about a 1.1 second gap over Zach Floyd in P2. Looks like Jonathan Hernandez got a little bit loose there coming through turn 4. And we do have a battle on track. The 38 of Thomas Harmon trying to overtake for 10th. That's John Lozelle on his outside, and just behind them, Brian Pizzicami. John Lozelle pretty strong there on the second lane, managing to hold off Thomas Harmon at the moment. I wonder how long he can maintain holding on to that position, Paul, because Thomas Harmon, generally a very fast and tenacious driver. So Thomas Harmon getting a little bit loose there going through turn 4. That opens up the door for Brian Pizzicami to try and make a move on his inside. Pizzicami running all the way down at the bottom of the track. And he does slot in front of Thomas Harmon that time. Thomas getting a little bit of the shakes coming through turn 2, just like he did out of turn 4 the lap previous. Let's go back up further towards the front now. It looks like we might have a battle going on here. Oh, the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. Very loose coming out of turn 2. And he has just lost 3rd place while trying to take 2nd. He's now back down to 4th behind Chris Champeau. He got very loose there coming out of turn 2. Let's ride on board the gyro cam of Sanchez. As he's now witnessing these guys in front of him battling it out a little bit. Chris Champeau in the 2 and Zach Floyd in the 9. Sanchez looking like he's got a little bit of pace here at the moment. Brought back up to the tail of Chris Champeau there a little bit. He was a little bit faster over that lap. Sanchez did a 35.497 to Chris Champeau's 35.551. I think it's time that we go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back we will continue to watch the racing here, to make sure you guys stay tuned. And we are back here live and exclusive on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the Gladiator 100 here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. And these guys definitely turned up the wick a bit while we went to the commercial break. Jaron Sanchez has fallen back the P5. Chris Champeau is maintaining second. But Matt Burgess has moved up to third. Zach Floyd in fourth, but he's about to shuffle down to fifth as Sanchez finds the pace to get around him. We've also had Kyle Kraus and Brian Chambliss joining the battle as well. Here comes Chambliss now to the inside of Zach Floyd. He wants P5. And it looks like he's going to take it. Zach Floyd very possibly starting to run out of tyres here. You also see just in the background there, Gary Waterworth starting to reel these guys in. Same too with John Lozelle and Thomas Harmon. And Zach Floyd is definitely falling from grace right now. Getting into the wall a little bit there coming out of turn 2. So let's jump on board the 38 of Thomas Harmon here. Watch out if his gyro cam at the action going on ahead. Zach Floyd getting very loose coming off of the corners there. D. Thomas running a slightly higher line here. It's all about trying to break the draft a little bit so it doesn't get too tight in the corners, as he's going to go for a move on Gary Waterworth. Gyro cam operator is a little bit slow today. And he gets that move made. That puts Thomas Harmon up into P9 now. And just in front of him, Zach Floyd in the 9 car. Geez, look at that speed Thomas Harmon had over Zach Floyd on the entry to the corner. That was incredible. Brian Pizzacchemi's also sneaking through to try and crack that top 10. As Zach Floyd now under attack. Oh, Zach Floyd very loose. He managed to save that somehow, but that was a very sideways car coming through turn 2. Everyone is very lucky there that he maintained car control and kept that thing pointing in the straight direction. And it looks like Zach Floyd's going to come into the pits this time and get some new tyres on that automobile. That thing is very squirrely indeed. We're just going to try and figure out where we're going to start looking. Oh, in the background, Jonathan Hernandez with a big tank slapper coming out of the second corner. Looks like everyone's tyres starting to go off a little bit here. Everyone getting loose. And that little bit of a slide coming out of turn 2 could be a downfall here for Hernandez, as Matt Horton's coming up on his inside. Zach Floyd just on the access road there, coming out of the pits now. What we're going to do is we're going to open up the radio waves here, see what these drivers are talking about.
Thanks.
We're also going to go and have a look at the battle at the front of this pack. These guys battling out for second, third, and fourth. That's Champeau, Sanchez, and Burgess. Oh, as in the background there, I think that was the 21. That was the 21, Brian Chambliss. He was right up there battling for a top 5 position. And now he's all the way down into P10. Gary Waterworth gets loose, coming out of turn 4. Seen a lot of very unsettled race cars now. So we're going to go focus on crashes here, because a crash could happen at any moment by the looks of things. with how loose some of these drivers are getting. As Zach Floyd makes a big move to the inside of Kyle Kraus. Zach Floyd in P20. And I think he's a lap down, maybe 2 laps down, after going and pitting for some new tyres. But he's making a tear through this field because he wants to try and get back onto the lead lap. And he's only 1 lap down, there you go. So if we were to get a caution right now, Zach Floyd would be the lucky dog wave around car. That's now Zach Floyd making a move to the inside of Matt Burgess. Matt Burgess sitting in 4th, just letting Zach Floyd go. Actually lifted a little bit on the straightaway to give Zach Floyd the room to go. And Zach does look very quick with those fresh tyres. He pulls up in front of Chris Champeau there. Now Zach's got clear track and a lot of time before he catches up to Christian Budd. Christian Budd with a 5-second gap over Chris Champeau. Now we're looking at the battle for 13th, which is James Watson, Jonathan Hernandez, Travis Masia and Jonas Marquez. I think Tommy Bordeaux involved in this battle as well. Yeah, he is there. 57, the blue and yellow car in the background. And Travis Masia actually making a move to the inside of Jonathan Hernandez coming through turn 2. And that move has been made. That's Masia up into 14th now. Hernandez down to 15th. And Tommy Bordeaux has made his way into P16 in front of Jonas Marquez. Now let's go and watch this battle ahead of these guys. The seat of 33 of Matt Horton trying to work the inside of Gary Waterworth. You got Ken Campbell in there as well in the 15 car. And it looks like that high line's just not working out for Waterworth the way that it did earlier on in the run. As Horton has taken that position clean and clear. Oh, into the wall slightly was the 22 car.
I'm sorry, Ken. I wasn't trying to block there. I just got loose.
You heard there, Matt Horton getting a little bit loose coming out of turn 2. But we also saw Brian Chambliss in the 21 getting very loose again. It's Gary Waterworth trying to effect an inside overtake on Ken Campbell now. All very close quarters racing as it stands right now. You see now Gary Waterworth starting to fall into the clutches of James Watson. But also Chambliss starting to fall into the clutches of this entire group. Go and keep an eye on this 21 car, because he's definitely not looking settled at all. And in other news, Zach Floyd has made it back onto the lead lap now. Oh, sideways for Chambliss, drifting it through turn 2. I knew we had to keep an eye on him. And that just proved to why. And the car is still very unsettled. Those rear tires were absolutely burning on fire. As in the background, the 5 of Mark Pentecoff is now heading into the pits. He's gone a lap down somehow. Not sure where or how he went a lap down, but he has gone a lap down. In fact, he didn't go into the pits.
Somebody put me out of my misery. Come on, Gary, just wreck me, please.
And you can hear a very dejected Brian Chambliss there. Not handling the car very well at all, unfortunately. Maybe it's a little bit too much Taco Bell on the rear tyres of that thing. Let's go have a look at the 5 of Mark Pentecoff here, who is now 2 laps down. Rolling around the inside of the track. Looks like he is coming into the pits this time. I think he tried to come into the pits last time. Carried too much speed and missed the pit entry. As now we're going back to focusing on anyone and everyone. In fact, we're going to go have a look at this battle for second, which is still raging on. Between Chris Champeau, Matt Burgess and Jaron Sanchez. Sanchez dropping down to 4th and Matt Burgess up into P3. Chris Champeau still maintaining that second position. As it looks like Matt Burgess looking to the inside now. Can he make that move stick? Not quite. Doesn't quite have his nose up there fully.
Jonathan, you're supposed to hit me.
That was the plan, but I started following you.
Alright, now we're just going to mute the driver chat now. .50 of Christian Budd, still clean and clear in the lead of this thing, and by a long way, 6.4 seconds, so 6.5 seconds now over this group that we're currently following. And it looks like this time, the 12 of Matt Burgess, well and truly with his nose underneath Chris Champeau. And he's going to force Champeau up into a higher line there. Oh, Sanchez in the background getting a little bit loose. And this time, Matt Burgess makes the move stick. But will Chris Champeau have a reply for him and battle back? Doesn't look like he does this time. As the gap to Christian Budd is now out to 7 seconds. Damn. It looks like hostilities here in the battle for second starting to cool down a little bit while these drivers think about their choices and what they can do. So we're going to go back to focusing on anyone and everyone, and we see a battle with Travis Maciel taking 10th place away from Ken Campbell there. Got Tommy Bordeaux right up in this battle. Got James Watson on the front. I think that is Matt Burgess. Oh no, Matt Horton on the back, sorry. Matt Burgess is currently P2. We've got 2 Matts in this league and I confuse them more often than people think. I remember the days where we used to have like 3 Brandons and 3 Brendans, 3 Bryans. Those were confusing times. In fact, I think one time we had 5 Bryans. Those were really confusing times. As you see, the 57 Tommy Bordeaux working on the inside there of Ken Campbell. That's for 11th. Matt Horton is in the box seat of that battle. Let's see what unfolds for these drivers. Oh, Tommy Bordeaux got a little bit tight, center of the corner, slid up a little bit. That's an absolutely cracking battle for one position out of the top 10. Matt Horton running very wide this time. He was trying to diamond off the corner. Oh, Tommy Bordeaux got the move made but stuck it in the wall. And goes very deep into turn 3. Don't know how he managed to get that car to stop there. That was crazy. But he's now very loose. He burnt up his tyres in that little move. Ooh, and forced Matt Horton to check up there. Cheeky little move there by Tommy Bordeaux. Just in front of them, the battle is on as well between Travis Massia and Ken Campbell, as we've just reached the halfway stage of this race. Travis Massia now takes over 9th from James Watson. And it looks like we're starting to get pit stops. The 57, Tommy Bordeaux coming into the pits. We also have the 24 Frank Isaacson in the pits, and the 50 of Christian Budd has come in for his pit stop. Matt Burgess has come into the pits as well. Be the 38 and the 60 pitting. So at the moment, Chris Champeau is officially our leader. You see a move from Zach Floyd on the inside of Jonathan Hernandez. So here's our leader, Chris Champeau. And it looks like Jaron Sanchez coming into the pits this time. Chris Champeau still not pitting this time. Maybe wanting to run it as long as he possibly can. John Lazelle currently P2. Got Brian Pizzicami 3. Travis Massia currently 4th with Matt Horton in 5th. But the 23 of John Lazelle has just pitted, which is going to promote the 78 of Brian Pizzicami to 2nd. Travis Massia 3rd, because the 33 of Matt Horton has also pitted. The 88 of Jonathan Hernandez comes into the pits. And now we only have 6 cars left to pit. As Matt Burgess goes around. Here comes Chris Champeau into the pits this time. Let's see if Pizzicami's going to pit. And Pizzicami stays out. And Pizzicami has officially led a lap now. got Travis Massier a second and a half behind him. They're separated by Tommy Bordeaux, who has pitted. And Pizzakemi comes into the pits this time. And Travis Massier stays out, so Travis Massier is officially going to lead a lap. And we have a caution on the track. And I think that one was for the 2 of Chris Champeau. We see going very slow here. Let's see what happened to Chris. So he's just come out of the pits in front of 60 of Kyle Kraus. See what happens here. Oh, and a big contact there with the 60 of Kyle Kraus. And that has sent the 2 of Chris Champeau into the walls. And around he goes. That's going to be one very damaged car. Luckily, no one else involved, but the caution has come out. So we are going to go to a quick commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to have the fallout from the pit stop cycles here and see where everyone's at. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And we are back live and exclusive here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the Gladiator 100 here from the Homestead Miami Speedway, hosted by the Output Racing League. And your current leader is going to be the 50 car of Christian Budd, who decided to stay out under this caution period. Be a few cars in front of him that are going to be going for waiver rounds. Your current order is going to be Christian Budd, Matt Burgess, Jaron Sanchez, Thomas Harmon, John Lazelle, Tommy Bordeaux, James Watson, Brian Pizzakemi, Travis Massier, Zach Floyd as your top 10. Then you're going to have Kyle Kraus, Brian Chambliss, Ken Campbell, Gary Waterworth, Matt Horton, and Jonathan Hernandez. Wrapping up your lead lap drivers, Waterworth, Horton, and Hernandez getting waiver rounds here. In fact, Waterworth in the pits, so he's not actually a waiver round. He was on the lead lap. But it's Horton and Hernandez getting waiver rounds. Frank Isaacson is going to be 1 lap down. And we still have Chris Champeau in the pits. He's currently 3 laps down. Mark Pentecoff currently 7 laps down. And Jonas Marquez currently 8 laps down. As we should be getting the 1 to green signal this time by. This is our first caution of the race. Drivers are all lined up. Christian Budd electing to start on the inside line. He feels that the outside line is not worth it. But here we go, we're all racked and stacked and ready to go again. Gonna have 40 laps to go when we get the green flag. The pace car's in and we're gonna crank it up.
Go, go, go. Green flag.
We are back, and as you can see, the 50 of Christian Budd leading the way from Matt Burgess, and Thomas Harmon sneaking his way all the way up to third there, but he's got Jaron Sanchez up on his inside as these guys are battling it out for the third position. Zach Floyd in the 9 just behind these guys. Zach did pit under that caution after having a very ill-handling car earlier on in the race, pitting on lap 25. That caution was a godsend for him. And both Harmon and Floyd have gotten around Sanchez, but now they are battling it out for P3 here. Harmon elected to stay out under caution by the looks of things. Last pitting on lap 52. But yeah, Zach Floyd pitted under that caution period. But here comes the battle back from Sanchez now. Behind them, you have Lizelle and Pizzakemi, who are just ever so looming there behind these guys. We're going to go 3 wide into turn 3 with Sanchez in the middle. We've got Lizelle outside, Pizzakemi inside. Pizzakemi with a good run on the inside line. Same too with John Lizelle on the outside. Using the momentum, both drivers get around Sanchez. Zell going to the extreme high lane. And he's going to sweep around the outside of Pizzakemi. Now he's also going to challenge the 38 of Thomas Harmon for third. And he does so before they get into the corner. Harmon trying to do the switchback, get back down to the inside. It's not going to work out for him this time though. And I'm wrong, they're battling for fourth, because I'm an idiot. Zach Floyd currently in P3, Matt Burgess P2. And I think, unfortunately, the 2 of Chris Champeau has retired from the race. And that sucks. That really does. If you guys want to follow Chris on Twitch, you can find him at twitch.tv/ChampDriveCars. One of our local streamers who streams while they race in the league. And it's always good to get the different perspectives of the drivers who participate. As now these drivers here from 4th on back starting to catch up to our 2nd and 3rd place drivers. No one is catching Christian Budd though. He's got a 2.5 lead over the field. And it looks like Brian Pizzicami slotting himself up into 4th now in front of Lizelle. And he's going to start charging on towards the 12 of Matt Burgess now, who's starting to fall back a little bit from Zach Floyd. Some great racing in the mid-packs here. The 12 of Matt Burgess bounced off the wall there coming into turn 3. That could have been a little bit of net code, because the Australian internet that I have is not great. And that's the politest way I can put it. But the battle is on in earnest here for 3rd. As the 78 of Pizzicami has indeed caught up to Matt Burgess. We're going to see him starting to look for a way around him here shortly. The Pizzicami taking a slightly wider entry, so he can get slightly lower for the exit of the corner, try and get the run. And it looks like he might be able to do that this time. He's pulled up to the side of Matt Burgess. And that is a clean and clear pass for Pizzicami into P3. Now he's going to start charging towards Zach Floyd for the 2nd position. It's only a 1 second gap to Zach Floyd for Brian Pizzicami. Looks like back behind these guys a little bit. There's a battle going on for P6. Chambliss trying to make the move on the inside of Thomas Harmon. Chambliss to the inside in turns 3 and 4. All slid up ever so slightly there. That put Thomas off his game. And that is now Chambliss up at the P6 in front of Harmon. Ooh. I think that was Matt Horton there. The 33 car just tapping the wall on the front straight. Managed to keep it pointing straight, but he did definitely bounce off that wall there in the front straightaway. As we move back up towards the front of the pack. Chambliss now all over the back of John Lizelle. Thomas Harmon has fallen off the back of these guys ever so slightly. It's the difference in tyres here that is separating the men from the boys in the mid-pack. And even then, Christian Budd not exactly getting away from Zach Floyd. The gap is only 1.5 seconds. And Zach Floyd has the fresher tyres. And Pizzakemi, who also pitted under the caution, only half a second behind Zach. So let's go and check out Zach Floyd's here. Check out his gyro cam. That's what 1.3 seconds looks like in an ARCA car. A little bit harder for us to see because of that bar that goes up the passenger side of the window. You hear the throttle control as he's going out of the corners. Transitions make these cars very unsettled, both transitioning into the corner and out, but more so out than it is in. It looks like Chambliss now, as I clicked the wrong button, this Chambliss. Starting to work over to 12 of Matt Burgess for the 4th position. Burgess, who pitted just before the caution came out. You also see in the background there Sanchez making a move on Thomas Harmon and making it stick. Thomas Harmon starting to fight back though. But this is the move we're looking at. The 21 of Chambliss on the inside of Burgess. And he makes that move stick. Now Chambliss clear of Matt Burgess by half a second. He's starting to catch up to the guys battling ahead of him in Pizzakemi and Zach Floyd. Pizzakemi actually going for a move on Zach Floyd here. Zach tried to block a little bit, but it didn't quite work out. And the battle is on for P2. Here comes Chambliss as well joining the battle. Floyd drifting it through turn 4. Floyd's car very unsettled there on the front stretch. As I think he wanted to try and get down behind Pizzakemi to block off the run by Chambliss. Couldn't do so. And now Zach Floyd drifted it through turn 2. I think he's burnt up his tyres a little bit. As now Chambliss moved up into P3. But here is the 78 Brian Pizzakemi now in P2. He's got 3 seconds to try and catch up to Christian Budd. Christian Budd actually getting into lap traffic here with Mark Pensick up in front of him. Oh, big slide there by the 9 of Zach Floyd coming out of turn 2. And now here comes Chambliss. He's going to be looking for an inside run on Pizzakemi. And it just looks like Pizzakemi just can't quite keep it down on the low side. fact, Chambliss taking a slightly wider entry into the corner. They can be slightly lower on exit. And I think he's there as Zach Floyd gets sideways again and taps the wall with his right rear fender. They're going to go 3 wide with the lap car of Mark Pentecoff. And that is now the 21 of Chambliss up into P2. We saw a couple of the battles there in the background. Matt Burgess now starting to work over the 9 of Zach Floyd. And Jaron Sanchez still not out of this yet. Just sitting there ever so patiently in P6. Waiting for one of these two guys ahead of him to blink so he can make a move. Zach Floyd well defended. Holding on to that P4 in front of Matt Burgess. But that might all be for naught here as Matt Burgess just seemingly having better tyre life at the moment. Looking after his tyres just slightly better than the 9 of Zach Floyd. Jaron Sanchez still just sitting there in P6. Oh, almost contact there as Matt Burgess slid up the track a little bit in the corner. See Zach very sideways go through turn 4. And that's allowed Matt Burgess to get around him. Might allow the 4 of Sanchez to get around him as well. And in fact it does now. That's Sanchez up into P5. Zach Floyd just went from 4th to 6th. Oh, John Lozelle in the background at a 23 car. They're very sideways behind the 60 of Kyle Kraus. But this is the next battle that's on our plates. Burgess and Sanchez, these two have a storied rivalry that has included a lot of crashes. You can look back through a lot of the previous broadcasts, and these two have come together a lot in this league. They've definitely cleaned up their act a little bit in recent times, but you always got to keep a close eye on these two when they're on track next to each other. It looks like they're pretty much stalemated right now, as they're starting to close in the gap a little bit to Brian Pizzakemi ahead of them. But here comes Sanchez now to the inside of Matt Burgess in turns 3 and 4. Burgess running that outside seam, trying to get the momentum from it. Sanchez was running right down on the white line. Sanchez was officially in front when they hit the line. And just like that, Sanchez back up into P4. Now the gap between Chambliss and Christian Budd generally just stayed around about 3 seconds. Just going to have a look at their times as they come across the line. The 36.025 for Budd and a 35.898 for Chambliss. So it's just a little bit over 1/10 of a second that Chambliss just closed in on Christian. With only 10 laps left to go, I think it's a case of a little bit too late to have this kind of speed. He's really going to be reeling in 3 or 4 tenths per lap to really have a crack at this properly. As that time they broke even. I think the 9 of Zach Floyd has really had a fall from grace, fallen all the way back to 16th. And he has some heavy damage on that car. But not sure what happened here. He's got a lot of left side damage and a lot of backside damage. So I think we got to try and look for someone who has corresponding left side or front side damage. But that's really unfortunate for Zach Floyd. He was having a really good run. The 5 of Mark Pentecoff gets into the wall a little bit there. Zach just really not enjoying himself here in this race. Go have a look at 33. He seems to be just off by himself in the background here. Doesn't look like he's got any right side damage or front end damage, so I don't know. The 5 of Mark Pentecoff has come back into the pits. You're seeing Jonathan Hernandez is trying to hold on to 11th from Gary Waterworth. Just behind him you can see James Watson and Ken Campbell battling out for 13th. So Campbell's going to get that position. Now what a good run for Tommy Bordeaux up into the top 10. Looks like he's starting to get the hang of driving these cars a little bit. As we now have 5 laps left to run in this race. Zach Floyd has just gone a lap down. Oh, very loose there for Waterworth going through turns 1 and 2. That allowed Hernandez to get away. It's also going to allow Ken Campbell to catch up a little bit here. Campbell's working the outside of Waterworth. Waterworth gets loose again. It's going to allow Campbell clean and clear into 12th. Waterworth down to 13th. Lucky for some, unlucky to others. We're going back up to our battle for 3rd now between Sanchez and Pizzicami. Pizzicami's just fallen off in these last few laps. Really allowed Sanchez to get right up there. Let's see if Sanchez can take that 3rd position away. Oh, it's loose for Sanchez coming out of turn 2. Going to give the advantage to Pizzicami. As we start to come on to the penultimate lap, 2 laps to go. Sanchez really has to get a wriggle on if he wants to get that podium. And Sanchez this time gets up side by side with Pizzicami. And it looks like he might be able to make that move stick coming through turns 3 and 4. We'll have to wait and see though. And it looks like he's got that move made as it's white flag last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for the 50 car of Christian Budd. So we won't be able to keep an eye on that Sanchez-Pizzicami battle. Because we've got to watch the lead across the start-finish line. So it looks like Sanchez is going to hold on to the advantage there of 3rd place. But coming out of turn 4 for the final time, your winner here for the Gladiator 100 from the Homestead Miami Speedway, the 50 of Christian Budd. P2 is going to go the way of Brian Chambliss. And P3, Jaron Sanchez, Matt Burgess Sneaking up there for 4th over Brian Pizzakemi, who has fallen back to 5th. So we're going to keep an eye on the 50 of Christian Budd here, as I'm assuming we're going to be getting some victory burnouts here in just a second. And here we go. He is definitely a happy camper. And I'm pretty sure with that, he has just secured the title here. Alright, so we're going to go to a commercial break now. When we come back, we're going to have driver interviews. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alright, because the timer there fucked up a little bit. We're going to be getting straight into our driver interviews here, and we're kicking things off with our Hard Charger Award winner here today. And today's Hard Charger, who only just managed to hold on to the Hard Charger spot by one position. It was actually a tie. It came down to where they finished. Today's Hard Charger is going to be the 78 car of Mr. Brian Pizzakemi. Brian, you started in 15th and worked your way all the way up to 5th man, keeping your string of top 5s alive. I know you were looking for another podium to keep your string of top 3s alive, but unfortunately that's not the way things played out today.
No, this car is a lot of fun, but man, it was such a weird change from what we had practiced yesterday, where it was somewhat tight in but loose off. Today it was super tight in. So it was readjusting to the conditions, and the track only got hotter and slicker at the end. I mean, overall, it was a lot of fun battling with everyone, but man, I cannot save that right front tire.
It definitely looked like there was a lot of great battles throughout the entire pack. And then also, you know, two long green flag runs, separated pretty much right on halfway by that caution. What was it like for you just dealing with those long green flag runs and trying to manage the right front unsuccessfully?
Well, you said it. It felt like I had control over the right front, but then there was just this cliff that there was just no grip in the right front, and so it was just backing up the corner like every lap, just trying to make sure I could hit my marks, and it was just I just noticed the cars in front of me were getting smaller, and the cars behind me were getting bigger, and I just couldn't handle it. I was so happy to go in and get tires, but that caution was well timed because I was getting a fresh set as it came out.
All right, man. Now let's talk about the race as a whole. Obviously, hard charger means that you passed a few cars. So, what was it like going through and carbon your way through the field, especially in that first half of the race where everyone was still, trying to figure out how the car was running?
Terrifying, absolutely terrifying. The car is just super loose on throttle, so it's like you're watching everyone else, making sure they're not going to come down and get you. You're trying to make sure you're not going to get loose and take someone else out. But it made for some very, very fun battles because it's one of those you actually have to really think about how you're going to enter the corner, how you're going to apply the brake, apply the throttle, and then pray the car sticks on the exit.
Now let's talk about dealing with that looseness on exit because we saw a lot of drivers struggling with drive out of the corner, most notably Chambliss and also the nine of Zach Floyd. What was it like for you just getting off the corner and not cranking that thing sideways?
It it just really relied on just letting the car roll and kind of getting a straighter exit because the more you cranked on it, the more sideways you got. And I mean, it was evident with Zach Floyd, who was sideways every single lap off on exit. I am amazed he held on to it for as long as he did.
Now let's look forward towards next week. I don't actually have track we're at next week just yet. Looks like North Wilkesboro. So what's the feeling like to you heading to the historic 1987 North Wilkesboro Speedway?
I'm gonna leave a nice large 78 print on the wall because I don't think I'm gonna survive that track.
All right, man. Now, we know that you're a Twitch streamer, so let's get a shout out to your Twitch stream and also any other shout outs that you got to give out today.
Uh, Shout out to my Twitch stream. I did not stream tonight because my internet was being flaky, but twitch.tv/Superior Blaze. Follow me there if you want to see some subpar driving. But really, shout out to you in the booth for an amazing job as always. All the drivers for being able to navigate around each other with a really slick race car, and just and all the fans for watching. It was just this was a wild one.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, man. Congratulations on getting another Hard Charger award, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at North Wilkesboro.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys, so that was your Hard Charger award winner for today, Mr. Brian Pizzakemi. Coming up next, a man that we definitely don't get to speak to very often at all. Some say that he's an enigma, some say that he just doesn't exist at all. But of course, we're talking to the league owner and operator and our third place getter here today, the 4 car of Mr. Jaron Sanchez. Jaron, a great run by you, man. You were up towards the front for pretty much the entire race. How does it feel, and how does it feel finally breaking through for a podium this season?
Feels pretty good. I really wasn't expecting to do well tonight. I was thinking maybe I'd try to get a top 10. And man, I don't know. Just this track and the setup and the temperature and all that. I don't know. I just felt pretty good. So did a lot better than I thought. I'm real happy to get third place. Haven't gotten one of them in a long time. They're hard to get around here.
Now, we did have two really long green flag runs here. What was it like for you trying to manage the tyres throughout those two runs? And then also deciding when to pit in the middle of the race just before that caution came out?
I didn't manage tires. I was just pretty much just trying to run my lines and as fast as I could, honestly. I felt like my driving style tonight for some reason just save tires on its own because I thought it was gonna be terrible. Trust me, I was gonna start the race and be take it easy, but I didn't really manage tires. I forgot the rest of your question.
Also deciding when it was time to come in for your pit stop.
Oh, I just waited for people in front of me to pit. I'm not really good at strategy, so I just kind of see what everyone's doing and copy them. No big deal.
Well, I guess we can be thankful that you didn't run out of fuel like you used to be known for way back when
Good
in the
memories.
past.
Yeah, those are good times.
But let's look forward to next week. We're going to the historic North Wilkesboro Speedway for 150 laps. What's the feeling like for you going into North Wilkesboro next week?
No idea. Never been there. Don't even have the track purchased yet. So it's gonna be another surprise. I really liked when we went to Nashville. I'm not saying those are identical. They're gonna be similar in any way, but I went into Nashville completely blind, and I really liked it, even though we got all torn up. And I'm gonna go into North Wilkesboro completely blind, and I'm hoping it's a good turnout. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, so Jaron, we know that you're a Twitch streamer as well, so let's get a shout out to your Twitch channel and also just any other shout outs that you got to handle here tonight.
Yeah, just go ahead and subscribe to twitch.tv/Aussie_sim_.
Your
commentator.
Twitch channel.
I don't really stream anymore.
Twitch.tv
Don't follow me.
/Jaron_S is the one that you got to
Appreciate that.
follow.
Don't count on me going live, but yeah. Anyway.
Your other shout outs?
Oh yeah, my wife, if she's watching, my daughter, and all the league, all the drivers coming out here, and you do a good job with the broadcast. It's a lot of fun. This league's about fun, and that's what we're having. So thanks to all the drivers, especially coming out and racing clean and just having a good time.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time, Jaron. Thank you for putting on the league and coming out and racing each and every single week. And hopefully some good results for you next week at North Wilkesboro.
All right, looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right, guys, so that was our third place getter, the ever-reluctant Mr. Jaron Sanchez. And definitely go and follow him on Twitch. Again, that's twitch.tv/Jaron_S. And go give him a follow because he does stream sometimes. And it's always a good watch. Coming up next, we get to talk to him more often these days than we did before, and it's always great to talk to our second place getter here today. Of course, it's the 21 of Mr. Brian Chambliss. Brian, great running there towards the end of the run. You looked like you had quite a bit of pace there, not really losing time to Christian. So how was the race for you, and how was it trying to manage tires here on those long green flag runs?
Well, I mean, I had qualified a little better than I normally do, or at least have recently, and normally end up, botching qualifying, starting in the back, and then trying to drive through the field and get to the front. This one was a little different. I think we qualified fifth, and then oh Lord, I was begging people to wreck me around lap 50. If you talk to the guys in the chat, I was asking for them to wreck me and put me out of my misery because I was so bad.
Yeah, we heard
so
we
bad.
had the driver channel open at that time.
Yeah, I was expecting to finish, pretty damn near last, and I was just had the plan. I was like, you know what, if I just keep running, hopefully if I don't wreck and somehow I can stay on the lead lap and these guys start pitting and a caution comes, I might get lucky. And that's really what happened. And because that first run I was so terrible and trying to just keep the thing straight on old tires that were already way hot, when I put the new ones on, I had it figured out on how to save. And I was just able to use that little bit of tire advantage against some of the guys that were in front of me after that pit stop, and just was more patient than I was that first run, and just worked my way through. And by that time I knew Christian was gone, and there wasn't much that I was going to be able to do to catch him. I mean, I'd catch him a 10th here, 10th there, half a 10th there, and about the last 10 laps we had really evened out, and then he was starting to pull back from me. But yeah, that's a testament to him still being on a little bit older tires and still being able to drive away. It's it's pretty crazy, and it shows how good a racer he is. But man, it'd be nice to not finish second.
Indeed, it would, man. But let's look forward to next week. Next week, we are going to the North Wilkesboro Speedway. So, what's it feeling like for you heading into North Wilkesboro in these cars?
Oh, I've only raced North Wilkesboro a couple times, and the track's fine. I'm just not any good there. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I could be asking for people to wreck me again around lap 50 and put me out of my misery, or you never know. I don't know. I really don't know what this car is going to do there. I haven't raced it there. I've only raced the 87s and the Cup cars there, and these cars don't exactly drive like that. But I don't know. I mean, we'll just go in there, and I know I'm going to practice some longer runs in practice instead of what I did today. That way I don't, fall to last and then have to hope for some luck to, help me out. That way I can recover and get a finish that I think I deserve.
All right, now we know you're a Twitch streamer, so let's get a shout out to your Twitch stream and also any other shout outs you got to give out here tonight.
Yep, it's twitch.tv /BR Chambliss, my first two initials and last name. I'd also like to thank Jaron and the rest of this league, for coming out each week and, putting on a good show. We only had one caution this week, and that's, about where we normally are if we even get one. So it's, caution free is what I would prefer, unless, of course, I would rather get wrecked and then cautions help me. But, it is what it is, right? And then, of course, I'd like to thank my family for, letting me take the time to do this and have some fun with you guys. But that's it. We'll catch you next week, hopefully under the same circumstances.
Well, hopefully so. Hopefully one position better next week. But thank you very much for coming out, Brian. Congratulations again on P2. We look forward to seeing what you can do next week.
Thanks. See you then.
All right, guys. So that was today's second place getter. Of course, Mr. Brian Chambliss in the 21 car. Always great to talk to Brian. Coming up next, we got the winner of the Gladiator 100 here from the Homestead Miami Speedway today. Of course, this week's winner is the same as last week and the week before and the week before and the week before. In fact, it's the same winner we've had the entire season. Of course, is the 50 car of Mr. Christian Budd. Christian, I'm pretty sure with that win, you've just about completely closed up any chance of anyone beating you here in the championship. So first and foremost, congratulations. And congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thanks. It's a good race, just once again got the pole and was able to just kind of get up front and cruise, and everybody else got the little battle behind me, and hopefully it was fun to watch them dice back there. And then I was able to just kind of set my own pace and do what I needed. So overall, a good day.
Now that caution came out at a very awkward time in the green flag pit stop cycle. You'd pitted just a few laps before it came out. Were you maybe a little bit worried there on the restart that people with fresher tires were going to come quickly?
Yeah, I was. I knew I was taking a little bit of a chance by pitting a little earlier, but at the same time, I kind of thought that the race had taken on a pretty green flag look to it, and it seemed like at that point, guys were mostly going to be able to come down pit road. So I didn't really expect the caution. I'm not even really sure exactly what happened to cause it, but unfortunately, the caution came out, and I had about 5 or 6 green flag laps on the tires at that point. And that makes a difference, especially at this track where it's so slick and worn out that, you just don't know. You're not, it's an unknown at that point. I didn't really know who hadn't pitted and what their tire situation was. And obviously it turns out that Brian was one of those guys, and Brian's been fast, So knowing that, I would have paid more attention. But the other thing I had going for me was I knew those guys were going to still have to battle from the back of the field to get up to me. They're going to use up some tire just to get there. And fortunately, by the time Brian got himself cleared up to the front, both Brians, I think, it was too late. I was already 3 seconds out, and the tires do equalize out. So eventually, that fresh tire advantage goes away, and that's what happened. So it worked out still. But yeah, a little nerve wracking.
All right, now let's look forward towards next week. We're taking these ARCA cars to North Wilkesboro Speedway. So what's the feeling like for you heading to North Wilkes next week?
I like the track okay. I've only really driven it with the 87 car, so not really any experience with the ARCA car there at all. But I think the ARCA car does a pretty good job on short tracks. I thought our Nashville race was pretty good. I thought our Bristol race was pretty good. So, um, you know, we'll just have to see. Once again, it always kind of comes down to what kind of setup are we going to have. Is it going to allow us to race? I thought the setup tonight was pretty good and allowed us to race. So if we got a decent set, I think it'll be a good race, and looking forward to it.
All right, now we know that you're a Twitch streamer, so let's get a shout out to your Twitch stream, and let's get any other shout outs you got to get out of the way here tonight as well.
Yeah, just twitch.tv/Christian Bud, really easy. And then, of course, Aussie Sim Commentator for commentating our races every week. And Output Racing, all the guys who showed up. A lot of good competitors here, so always fun. And lastly, give a shout out to the Winstone boys. We just finished a season over there, and they're going to start a new season coming up here, running the 2018 Gen 6 and the 2021 Cup Series cars at short tracks and stuff. So looking forward to that season starting as well.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, Christian. Congratulations on what I'm pretty sure is a championship win, as well as tonight's victory, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at North Wilkesboro.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys, so that was today's winner, and I'm pretty sure your championship winner for Season 1 2021 here, Christian Bud. So that is going to wrap up our broadcast here. Of course, next week we are going to North Wilkesboro for I think it's the Champ Speed Shop 150. So it should be a cracking race. So until next week, stay safe out there, and we'll see you guys then.